With federal decriminalization of marijuana on the horizon, what stocks are you looking at to invest in? Stick around and I'll show you my top 5 picks for pot stocks 2021. Welcome to Framework Fortune. I'm your host Ben, and if this is your first time joining the Framework Fortune day trading and investing channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to see more content like this that can help you on your trading journey. Now, before we get started, gotta give a bit of a disclaimer. I am not a licensed investor, so do not buy or sell stocks because you see me talk about them or anybody else. Always seek licensed help first before investing. There is risks in the stock market. See the disclaimer in the description below. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about why pot stocks might get some nice attention in 2021. Now, the House of Representatives and the Senate are now controlled by the Democrats, which means there's probably a good chance that decriminalization on the federal level will happen. There was already a bill in the House of Representatives that was passed, the first decriminalization bill ever passed the House, and now it is sitting in the Senate. So this decriminalization may be happening way faster than we think. So let's go ahead and hop into Thinkorswim and take a look at my picks for top 5 pot stocks in 2021. Coming in at number 5, we have ticker symbol YOLO. Now, this is not a stock. This is actually an ETF. That means an exchange traded fund, and it is an investment fund containing multiple stocks. So if you like something that is maybe out of your price range, there is a possibility that this investment fund has some shares in that stock, so you'll be able to get in at maybe a cheaper price, but you also have less risk because the price is weighted over all the stocks that are within this ETF. And one of my favorite stocks, which will be a little higher up on the list, is iipr. Now, iipr is part of this fund. So you can see right there on the screen that they have a nice holding in iipr as well as Cresco Labs and a few other names. So YOLO, you definitely want to put on your watch list. You can kind of see which way the pot stocks are going just by this ETF alone. And this is a relatively new ETF. It came out in 2019 around about April, if you look here on the chart down here. And then, of course, it sold off. It kind of came out towards the end of the pot run, and then it sold off, and then it dipped real far down there in March, back when the COVID lockdown started happening. But since then, it's been rebounding. And here recently, because we're getting some attention on these pot stocks again, you can see that it's been making some moves up. And right now, it's around that 2250 area. It's going to have this major resistance up here around this 2625 area because that's the highest that it's ever been. If it breaks over that level, then we could possibly see this up into the 30s, maybe even 40s towards the end of the year, possibly, depending on what all happens, of course. So YOLO, definitely check it out. Number 4, we have Planet 13, and this is ticker symbol PLNHF. And now this is an OTC stock, which means it's not on the NASDAQ or the NYSE, so it is less regulated. But this company was one of the companies on my top 2020 pot stocks video picks. I think it might have even been number 1 on the list. So I've done quite a bit of research on this company, including going to the actual dispensary in Las Vegas. That was a good time checking it out, and you can see video footage from that, and as well as a more in-depth analysis on this Planet 13 company in links in the description below. So when I'm looking for stocks to invest in, I want to see how much money they're making and how much debt they're in. So you can see with Planet 13, they've had growing revenue with 2019 ending in $63 million. Now I'd like to see what 2020 will be. Of course, with COVID and everything, the numbers probably will be down, but if they're up, that's just an even better sign that shows the strength of this company and profitability. And then you can see there, their assets, they've got the $63 million about in assets and only $21 million in debt. So pretty good run company. If you take a look at the chart here, back from the 2020 video when I first started talking about Planet 13. It was around this $2 area, and then ever since then, over 2020, this company has exploded up to the $6.40 area, currently consolidating. Now this price is a little high in my opinion for the company because they are pretty new. I could see a little bit of a pullback out of this consolidation, but overall it's a pretty strong company and it's worth checking out. Number 3, we have iipr, and this is the highest price pot stock on my list. But this is a very, very strong company. They are a REIT. A REIT is a real estate investment trust. And by law, those are required to pay out 90% of their profits to their shareholders. So REITs usually have very high dividend yields. And iipr is one of those whose dividend continues to grow. If you take a look here, 2017, they started paying out a 15-cent dividend. And now in 2020, the last dividend that was paid out was $1.24, so they've had consistent growth of their dividend payments, which means they're consistently growing as a company. And as they grow, so will that dividend payment. It's a quarterly dividend payment. And as you can see there, they have $745 million in assets and cash for the end of 2019, and they only had around $200 million in liabilities. Right now it is pretty high. It's been pushing 200. It's probably about due for a pullback, but with everything going on with decriminalization, it may not get much of a pullback, and it'll probably continue to grow. We'll see. But it comes in at number 3 just because of how high the price is right now. It might not be the best buying opportunity on this, but it's definitely one you want to have on your watch list. If you like dividend stocks, it is one that is going to fit nicely in your portfolio. Coming in at number 2, we have Altria, ticker symbol MO. Now, if you're new to investing, you might not know who this company is, but they own Marlboro, Juul, and several companies like that. So they've been around for a long time. Their dividends have consistently grown. Here in the past couple of years, you can see they've been on a downtrend. So they are in a pretty decent buy-in area with this support right back here. You can see that right across through there. And they're not going anywhere. And we know that they have an interest in the marijuana sector because they do have the Marlboro marijuana cigarettes in places where it is recreational legal. And you can see the total revenue has been consistently around $25 billion. Their total assets are around $49 billion with liabilities of $42 billion. Now, the liabilities to the total assets is a little higher than I would like. I usually don't like companies that are in that much debt, but this is an established company that is not going anywhere, and this actually will correlate to the number 1 stock on this list as well. But overall, I think this is a pretty solid pick. You're going to get the dividend payments. It's about an 8 to 9% dividend yield a year, depending on the price of the stock. The dividends are consistently growing. It is in kind of a nice value territory to maybe buy at. So you definitely want to have MO on your list because you know if it's Marlboro, they're going to be ready to go in 2021 when it becomes decriminalized. And here we are, number 1, Cronos Group, ticker symbol CRON. Now, the reason why this is number 1 is because MO Altria, the company we just looked at, owns 45% of the shares of Cronos Group. So that means when Marlboro needs the marijuana for their cigarettes and any other products they're going to be putting out, they're going to be probably getting all their supply from Cronos Group. So those two together, I think, are going to be a very nice pair in 2021 if we do see the decriminalization. And you can see a while back, Cronos Group was all the way up at 25. Now it's dropped all the way down, and here in the last couple of days we're getting to move up. It's around 1130, but it does have plenty of potential to get back up to that old high. And if you take a look at their revenue and assets and liability, you will see growing revenue of up to $23 million for 2019. You can see their revenue has started to shoot up, and they have $2 billion in assets while only having $350 million in debt. So that is a big difference they've got plenty of cash, they've got plenty of assets, and they're backed by Altria, the Marlboro company. So this is why this comes in at number 1. I think this is probably going to be one of the biggest runners of the year. I could be wrong, of course, but in my opinion, I like it. It should be on your watch list. If it's not, you definitely want to check it out and do some research on it. Now, before you go, I do have one bonus pick that I couldn't decide whether or not to put on the list. It was between YOLO number 5 and this stock right here. And this is Village Farms, ticker symbol VFF. Now, this company already is a bit of an established company. They sell produce across the U.S., like tomatoes, cucumbers, that type of stuff. They also have a renewable energy subsidiary, which with the incoming administration, we've seen renewable energy stocks getting a boost. But this company also has a growing cannabis subsidiary. So it's kind of a triple whammy. I really wanted to put it on the list, but I'm still not too sure about it. I think it does have a ton of potential. I think it's worth being on your watch list. So you see the total revenue there. We've had some consistent revenues around that 140, 150 million area. And then we can see their assets have grown to 183 million while having relatively low debt and liabilities. So I think this company is one that definitely should be on watch. Like I said, it's a triple whammy. It's a very interesting stock. You can see back in 2019, it went on a pretty massive run from $4 to $18, dropped back down to around $1.78, and now it's pushing back up towards that $15. So the previous high that the stock has ever been is $18, but with 3 different subsidiaries, kind of in 3 different sectors, there is a lot of potential for this company to grow and explode past that 18 mark at some point. But that's why it's not on my list, is because it may not get that explosion in 2021, may take a couple of years, but I think it's one that you definitely have to keep on your watch list. So that is it for my top 5 pot stocks in 2021. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you think there's some companies that I didn't mention that should be on that list, go ahead and leave them in the comments below and we'll discuss them. If you haven't yet and you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The top 5 tech stocks for 2021 will be coming out soon.